Hi, folks. This is my man coming to you from parts unknown. How is everyone tonight? I hope you're doing well. We got a big night coming up tomorrow night, and State of the Union. At least Mr. T says it's going to be a big night, and got a lot of mixed feelings on from people what's going on. We got people wanting to boycott. We got people uh, promising to disrupt. And Trump saying, hey, I'm going to tell it like it is. So, that always offends politicians when you tell it like it is. Hey, I want to thank Mike and Bev for going by buy me a coffee and helping out and support the channel. I do appreciate it. And also hilarious, too. I tell you, it's fun to, in the morning, see somebody has thought about the channel and put out the support. And I do appreciate it. But, and I got a link in the description. Anybody wants to help out. Yes. And Wayne says, give me a thumbs up. So thank you, Wayne. I appreciate that. Television shows, how you doing? Ha. It's going to be bigly, you say. Bambi, how you doing? Benjamin. KNS Cleanup. Sissy. Angel, how you doing? Well, I thought you were Angela for a minute, but you're Angel. You got a red rose. I think Angela's got a yellow one. Hi, Robin. How you doing? Rebecca, Marla. Nice to see you, Marla. She's got some coffees in her little chat there. Nice to see you. So, yeah, Pam Bondi. I talked about her last night, and she gave an interview with Mark Levin, and did what she said she would do. She S-canned. S-canned. You know what that means when you get put in the S-can, the SH, and then and that's it. Can this FBI big shot? I think I got one of his tweets or correspondence emails or something where he was telling people to resist and telling people not to. He helped hide the Epstein list. I guess he was the man. There's more than one, I'm sure. I got his name. We'll put him on the Mountain Man Hall of Shame. Well, I didn't have a big enough area to put topics in the title. Fani Willis get a FO. She found out today, and she's going to find out a lot. She's going to be finding out a lot, but she got a loss today. Letitia James got a shot across her bow from Laura Loomer. Okay, she's, I guess I'll call her the wild one. Trump says she's a free spirit. Not much I can do about her. That's a pretty diplomatic way of describing somebody. What do you want me to do? She's a free spirit, but she put out a X and the truth about she's got some dirt on Letitia James. Somebody else also X'd about that. I got that too. We'll read that. So what they say? What do they say about Trump every day? The walls are closing in. I ought to have a tape recorder where I can press a button and it plays out. The walls are closing in. The walls are closing in. Donald Trump, the walls are closing in. The walls are closing in. Not on Donald Trump. He was in a good mood. Did you see him at his press conference? He announced another $100 billion investment into the country. Now he said there's a minimum. If you want to be on TV with me and have a press conference, don't come up to me waving $1 million check. That ain't gonna cut it. I don't know what his minimum was. I think it's $1 billion, or it might have been 10 billion. I don't know. He put it up there. He's in high demand, and people will put up money to be seen standing next to Donald Trump and announcing something to the world. Unless, of course, your name is Vladimir Zelensky. Then you show up, make faces, roll your eyes, put your palms up in the air, shake your head, threaten people. Your daughters are going to get it. We're going to, You would pay. If you don't pay now, you'll pay later. Yeah, unless you're Zelensky, you got to pay a bunch of money. But I don't think we'll be seeing Zelensky back in the White House. I don't know. Trump is a diplomat. He might accept an apology and let him come back in his little monkey suit. That's what my mom used to call when I worked at Mickey D's. Put your monkey suit on. So I don't know. But he's got so many people mad at him, Zelensky does. And, so we're finding out this stuff about Letitia James, Fani Willis. Then we find out that senators and congressmen were helping that met with Zelensky and helped. What the old saying, I don't mean it desultory, it's what they used to say back in the day, queer the deal. He queered the deal. And so and guess who one of them was? Even put out a post about his advice to Zelensky. Guess who it was? Ha. Hi, Debbie. Wipe my noise. What? Or who you talking? Hi, Tank. How you doing? Whoosh, how you doing? So Todd's here. Let's see. Anyway, I think you were talking about Zelensky. I don't know. Yeah, he was wiping his nose. That's what Debbie's getting at. Yeah. He couldn't go 5 minutes without running his knuckles underneath his nose. And so, yeah, they say he's a cokehead. I tend to agree with that. So, anyway, I don't see anybody guessing who was the senator that even put it down in writing that he helped queer the deal. I'm looking. Well, I won't give any hints, and no goggling, but making a lot of noise. He's making a lot of noise. And time will tell with that character. It's going to be funny. It's going to be funny because, they can pin it all on Doge and the 100 geniuses for being able to track down stuff and sniffer algorithms. But I am more of a mind that the yeoman's work that's been done on tracking this intricate web of corruption and payoffs and bribes and all that the Army of the Potomac. You guys ever heard of that before? Army of the Potomac. That's the Q team. The Information Technology Q team. I believe they got 600 operatives, and they do not divulge. And that's their job, to gather and collate information. So, yeah, we can say, hey, we're walking in here with these geniuses and Elon Musk, and wow, we flipped this rock over. Guess what we found? Wow, we flipped another rock over. But I think that a lot of this has been known. And yeah, Schumer's one of them. But Schumer didn't put it in writing. He got caught sneaking. Mark got it. Melinda got it. Television shows got it. Chris Murphy, that's right. And that's why I said a couple of days ago, and I said it last night. I said, I don't know, 3 or 4 days ago, I said, oh, look at this guy popping out of the woodwork. If I'd have bumped into him on the street, I wouldn't have known who are you? Never heard of him. I don't know what state he's with, but he's a senator. But that's like they like to belly around in the grass where you can't see them and lay low. But then they start being loudmouths. Those who yell the loudest, those who scream the loudest, right? So Murphy at it again, making news and interfering with the executive branch, foreign affairs. Okay, that's what they tried to get Flynn on. That's how they tried to bring down the Trump administration, by saying General Flynn was not a registered agent and he was talking with Russia, all a bunch of drummed up crap. And these guys, along with, as we talked about in the past, people like John Kerry and others, going around to foreign countries and meddling in foreign affairs, which is the exclusive purview of the executive branch and the president of the United States in the Constitution, right? And it's against the law to go and do that. I forget what it is, a Hatch Act or something like that. So here they are, putting it in writing. Hi, Stanton, how you doing? And queering the deal, Bambi. Let's see. Miss Bendersue, nice to see you. Darla, Shine, how you doing, Shine? Marie. Yeah, Mark's here too. He got it too. Murphy. So anyway. So a lot of other senators were present for a meeting with Zelensky. That doesn't mean they participated. They didn't have any side conversations, and they may be there for the purposes of being a witness. And by that, I mean Chuck Grassley. And Lindsey Graham was there. He was in a picture in a lineup of senators. And we know what Lindsey Graham did. He said, Zelensky got to step down. He's got to step down. We know he's putting on a gray hat, playing ball, and like Trump said, he's there when you need him. There when you need him. So anyway, let me see what this goofball. Well, let me put out some things Trump had been putting out. Trump put out H.R. McMaster is a weak and totally ineffective loser. So I don't pay very much attention to H.R. McMaster. So I don't watch any videos because I don't need to hear that stuff. And a lot of people, H.R. McMaster, he's great, this. Well, I didn't think so, but I never shined a light on him. But apparently I'm right, because Mr. T doesn't think that much of him either. He probably siding with Zelensky and putting everybody on this guilt trip to go help you, Crizzle. Yeah, we owe you, Crizzle, squat. Okay, they owe us. We'll help, but we're not going to let him come around using the bathroom on us politically and being demanding. And he left absolutely no room for any kind of work. No room. Putin, what are you going to do with Putin? It'll never work because it's Putin. Oh, no, we're not going to try to throw Putin out, okay? Barking up the wrong tree. And people got to look at the history of Ukraine. Look up the name Bandera. Okay, that's their founding father of their political group. Last name is Bandera. They're called Banderists. Look up Maiden Massacre, things like that. This is not a situation of total innocence. Okay, I'm not saying Zelensky was involved in that stuff. I think he is a player. He's put in there to help put on the show to inform the world. And what are we seeing? We're seeing, like I said the other night, a choice, a choice of lockdowns, masks, children going to the doctor, if you know what I mean, having their, what do they call it, bottoms being surgeried, and throwing money at countries on the other side of the Atlantic. And Trump said, well, $350 billion, we could have rebuilt our Navy. He said, think about it. 350 billion. We had, and here we are, rightfully so, celebrating this 100 billion investment by a company, but that's less than a third of what we've thrown away on Ukraine. So, people gotta look at those numbers and use their heads just a little bit. And Trump put out, like he said on many press conferences, the only one who gave none of Ukraine's land to Putin's Russia is President Donald J. Trump. Remember that when the citizens, weak and ineffective Democrats criticize, and the fake news gladly puts out anything they say. Remember, Trump didn't give them anything. And it's a fact, a natural fact. So I don't know about tomorrow. He's going to give his State of the Union at 9:00 Eastern time. That's Washington time. And Nancy Pelosi's been making noise that she's not going. And you know what? Hey, it's kind of late, for she's older than Joe Biden. And she's not doing well. She broke her hip, and that leads to a lot of downtime. But she, maybe spry enough to go, but she'd be ornery enough. The last time she made a scene, we know what it was. She tore up Trump's speech, and she was Speaker of the House. Now she's just another AOC sitting in the bleachers. So maybe she doesn't want to go through that. Oh, really? Yeah, there's going to be a lot of shows putting on the State of the Union. So it'll be, I don't know. I don't usually broadcast on Tuesdays, but I may very well do that. And then, just coast on Wednesday. We shall see. We shall see. I hope he throws some thunderbolts. But then I've been seeing that some things being put out on Truth Social, that the theme that President Trump and J.D. Vance is putting out about these, it's not really a State of the Union. It's a address to Congress, more like, because he does his first State of the Union next year. That's what they've been saying. To me, it's a State of the Union. I think he's got every right to come in and give his diagnosis of the state of our union. So that's the way I'm going to look at it. But they're saying the theme is going to be more of a Morning in America type thing, a positive, upbeat, something to get people anticipating, to be thrilled about the changes that are going to come. And so given that they're putting that out there, I don't think that they're going to come out with something draconian or like I would like to see, which didn't happen at the Oscars. Oh, by the way, I heard that who hosts the Oscars, who televises the Oscars? It's Disney affiliate ABC. And I heard that they put the word out to everybody. No bashing Trump, and keep your yap shut about the Ukraine business. And you had one person come out there, Daryl Hannah. She played the girl with a patch on her eye in the Kill Bill series, Mermaid. You all know who I'm talking about. And she came out and Slava Ukraine, people clap, and that was about it. Other than that, you had very little. And you know, every Oscars, somebody comes out, or multiple people come out and run their big yaps about political stuff. Every single time they say something desultory, infuriating, whatever. Not this time. Isn't that strange? You know, ABC is under a lot of pressure. They lost that lawsuit with Slopodophilus, and they're owned by the parent company Disney. It's going through a mega lawsuit with Elon Musk and Gina Carrera, Carina, or whatever her name is, and they're going to have, I believe, class action lawsuits to spring up out of that. So, yeah, splash, Miss Minter Sue said. March 4th. You're probably right. Miss Minter Sue, that is the original date. I don't know why they moved it to January 20th. Oh, you're right. Sissy got it right. It's Bo. That was 10 is Bo Derek. Daryl Hannah. I guess the only two I really know is the Splash movie and Kill Bill. Something else will probably pop up, she's done. But anyway, she was the only one that made this weak, half-hearted attempt to cause trouble at the Oscars. Speaking of causing trouble, there's been words gotten out that these people that have been showing up to protests, showing up to town halls, and are planned to show up for the State of the Union, people who have been showing up at congressional hearings, disrupting, like Hegseth and Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, that these are paid operatives. And the question now is, these spontaneous, I'm using air quotes, protests that go on in different, like Pennsylvania, and mostly DC, they all have the same signs, professionally made signs. If they did cell phone tracking, many of them would probably mesh very well with all the people that would show up at Kamala Harris rallies in those beautiful white buses Trump was commenting on. I'd like to get the number of those bus lines. And I figured out, he's going to use those for deportations. And that's exactly what they're doing. But she was using them to take people to different rallies in different states. And wait a minute. Was this stuff financed through USAID, government money? Now, I know the Harris campaign had money to burn, and they're going to be taking a look at where the hell all that money came from. How much of that was taxpayer dollars that was misdirected and steered to nonprofit organizations that then in turn used it to exercise their free speech? Not exactly free speech when somebody's paying you. But anyway, so that's a scandal that's going to be erupting. And so when that guy, Hakeem Jeffries, got out in front of the Capitol and did a little press conference nobody showed up for, but he was saying, well, the people are for us. We don't have to pay anybody. The people are spontaneous. Yeah, right. Well, that's when people got out and said, well, no, what we're going to bring to the State of the Union is volunteers, people who have been fired from their jobs. Reagan started that, I believe, when he would say, have somebody in the stands, in the gallery, like a war hero, a veteran, or somebody that survived a difficult medical situation, or excelled in school, when they had hardships they were facing. Uh, Reagan would put up American stories, and have people stand up. And now they have taken that ball and ran with it to the point where you have people dressed up like the Handmaiden's Tale and all this goofball stuff. So now they're saying, well, we've got these victims of the Trump Musk purge, that their families have been damaged, and we're going to have them come in the stands too. So, oh yeah, well, maybe they'll get them in, but how about what you had scheduled? Were they getting paid by NGOs? Were they getting gift cards? How many people are going to pop up out of the crowd with some prepaid signs and BS hidden under their coats? I don't think very many. We'll see. We'll see. I think the last time when Nancy Pelosi tore up the speech, that was the extent of their protest. They knew they had something lined up for the cameras. Nancy had probably rehearsed that and pre-cut the pages so they'd be easier to tear with her old withered claws. Now they don't have that. They don't have, I guess, Hakeem would, no, he's not Speaker of the House. He would be, they don't have anybody up there. They got Mike Johnson. He's not going to do anything to put on a show to hurt Trump. And then you're going to have JD on the other side. So he's not going to have some Darth Sidious type freak sitting behind him while he's giving his speech. So are they going to try to pull something out in a gallery? I don't know. We'll see. In the guest gallery. So it's going to be interesting. But Trump said, I'm going to tell it like it is. And that's got a lot of people worried. I mean, they know that there's a lot of information that's coming out. People are looking over their shoulder for arrests. I mean, people like Adam Schiff, for sure. Nancy Pelosi, for sure. Because of all the things that I could just fire off on the top of my head that are egregious crimes. Then, but on the flip side, Trump is putting it out there in a anticipatory, like a something he's going to describe the future, describe the course we're on and what the destination of that course is going to be. That's going to thrill Americans. That's going to make Americans hopeful for their future and really excited about their future. I think that's what's going to happen tomorrow. Yes, see, I agree. Hopefully 300 plus cups would be available, but our nation is close to understanding the magnitude of what's been going on in Washington and how, there's really one way to straighten it out, and that is transparency and prosecutions. We know that prosecutions are going to happen on a large scale. But is America ready for that kind of a shock? Has the media still got the stranglehold, the iron headlock on information going to people where they will not lose their brains, if something like that, something necessary happens. It's necessary, but not right now. I think what Trump is going to be doing, and he's showing progress and he's showing positivity, even through the Zelensky thing. He's standing up for America's dignity. Okay, you don't come over here and behave the way he behaved and be an entitled ass. and thumb your nose at leaders of the nation. You don't do that. And Trump's setting him straight and saying, look, and he's leaving the door open. It ain't much, but he's leaving the door open. You know, you put your hat where it belongs, in your hand. Put your hat in your hand, say you're sorry, and get your rear end in here. But what did we find out? We talked about it last night. Television shows and other people brought it up that Zelensky worked out a deal with Starmer, the UK, to sell their mineral rights already. So they had no intention. They couldn't even, it's in question whether if he did sign it, if he could have even honored his end of the deal. So it's exposing to more and more Americans the duplicity, the two-faced, the Janus. Look up Janus, Janus, and the God with the two faces of the people that we're dealing with, and how we've been getting it pumped out. That's the term, by NATO, by Europe, for decades and decades. Generational theft. That $350 billion, of course Zelensky can't account for it all. Because it's getting... UK loaned him about $100 billion and has already received it back for the most part because it was a loan over the last 3 years. Now they're saying, well, we got another 2.6 billion here and another is a total of $5 billion. We'll shake hands within hours after he did what he did at the White House. They got another $5 billion. Well, how did Ukraine pay back the UK anything? How does the UK have anything to give? They're broke. They have no military left. They've let theirs go to hell in a handbag. They've all been dipping their fingers into the money we send. Everybody that's involved in this international criminal conspiracy, and they don't all have to have the same purpose. They don't all have to belong to the same group that's taken from the same pot. There is dozens of pots they can steal from. But all the pots we fill up, they take the money out of the pots. So whatever their reasoning is why, whatever their motivation is why, doesn't matter. They're all part of a corrupt organization. I don't know if they can put a name to it yet or not. I'm sure for a large portion of the criminality going on, I don't doubt that they say it's a cabal or a deep state or whatever it is, but there is going to be, like with organized crime in New York, it was this thing of ours, La Cosa Nostra, whatever. It was an acknowledged entity, a big club that law-abiding citizens were not in. It's the same thing with this. It's a big club and you and I ain't in it. But they're all profiting from it, and they're all doing it in surreptitiously. They're doing it in surreptitious and criminal ways. It's corrupt organizations. So that's where we're going to see prosecutions. And we've been paying the money in, and UK and the other countries have been taking it out, whether it's through weapon sales, outright theft, money, cash going over in Red Cross aid packages, however they've been doing it. So it's an intricate web because we look at what happened with the Iran deal. They know on paper that it was money in the billions going back to Iran. And they said, well, that was Iran's money anyway, because we kept it from sanctions. Well, they shouldn't have got it back. They financed where Americans lost their lives and soldiers were harmed and killed. And no, they shouldn't have got it back. But that's not all they got. Trump has said it. Whoever heard of pallets of cash, not anywhere on the books, being put on cargo planes, pallets of gold being put on cargo planes, and going, hey, maybe not all of it went to Iran, Qatar. Okay, and the way Trump talks about it and the way we read about it in the 17th letter, I believe they've got it. They've got it tracked. They've got that intricate, not tangled web, intricate spider web. They have got it traced out. So they're using, and I'm sure Doge is those guys and gals that are working with Doge, IT people, I'm sure they're discovering things. I'm sure they're doing more than their share of work. But I think the large framework's already been tracked. And they're all wondering, when is the hammer going to drop? When is the hammer going to drop? And this Zelensky exercise was just like Trump said, to give the people an awareness and an example of the attitudes we're dealing with. The attitudes we're dealing with. These people are trying to put us, and I'm not saying Zelensky personally is trying to take us to war. I think he's being used as a performer to behave so outrageously and blatantly that it will wake people up to what the hell's going on. So tomorrow night could be a continuation of that exercise. Trump is delivering on promises. He is putting forth the promise of a productive society, of a comfortable existence, of the opportunity for wealth. Okay, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, by saying, I don't want any people dying. Young kids over in Ukraine, young kids over in Russia, young men dying by the thousand. I want that to stop. I don't want young people in our country eating red dye number 32 and a half or whatever the hell it is. And we want to find out what's making these people sick. Young people, diseases, life he's offering. He did right to try, okay? Life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. He's going to be delivering on our Constitution's promise, what our government was designed to promote and protect, not to control and subjugate, which is exactly what the bureaucratic governing system, that's all they can do. Man, I didn't take a breath through half this stuff. Let's see. Hi, Hebrew. How you doing? So tomorrow's going to be a Hi, Andrew. How you? Tomorrow's going to be a continuation. 9 o'clock, Marie, 9 p.m. Washington time, Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, Romain, there's eyes on a lot of places, Hebrew Hammer. Poland came out and made a statement today. They said, was it the Prime Minister? He did a video. He said 500 million people in Europe are demanding that 300 million people in America protect them from 140 million people in Russia. And Trump said, I've got a place in my heart for Poland. I like Poland. And I'm going to put up a thumbnail that I made almost 2 years ago that I took down because I didn't want to talk about it at that time. And that's what I think they're going to try to use to drag us into World War III. Why would you do everything you could to queer the deal, the peace deal that Trump was working on? And that is what Macron did, Starmer, Trudeau, and those senators that met with Zelensky. They did everything they could, the advice they gave, the support they showed. If you don't go along with this deal, you're a hero. Don't be dumb. You make sure you don't agree to Trump's deal unless he agrees to unseat Putin. That's all they were saying. There's no other way to put it. Well, it's going to be regime change, all right, but it ain't going to be Putin. It's going to be Zelensky. And it might be time to pull him off the stage. I believe he's an operative. Like Trump said, he's a third-rate actor, but what makes a good movie? Good actors. And watching that press conference, he came in there echoing what the European leaders and the deep state senators were telling him. He laid it bare before the world. This peace deal is no good. We don't want it, and we want Putin gone. And we want you to give us more money. The vast majority of Americans are going to say, you get the hell out of here with that. And I believe it was his job to expose the pressures that are being exerted. And he's playing along like, yeah, you guys are right. So anyway, let me see this FBI guy. Well, here's Trump put out there, paid, quote, troublemakers are attending Republican town hall meetings. It's all part of the game for Democrats. But just like our big capital letters landslide election, it's not going to work for them. So, yeah, it's all coming out. They've got paid actors. And who's the leader in Ontario? We don't have Roland or anybody in here from Canada. Anybody in here from Canada? The guy, what's his last name? Ford came out because Trump announced it's, Mexico and Canada at midnight tonight, Washington time. So that would be 1 hour and 1 minute from now. There will be 25% tariffs placed on Canada and old Mexico. And Trump said, no, there's no room anymore. No room anymore. Tariffs are going on. He said he had great respect for Steinbaum, Steinberg, whatever her name is. He's not being rough with people. He's not downgrading people. He's telling them like it is. He said, they're not doing anything about the fentanyl. They're not doing anything to stop these. The crossings are way, 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 way down, but they're not turning up the heat. Okay, we had something like 70,000 people die last year of fentanyl. So, he said, you're out of room. Doug Ford, hi, Angel. That's right. You're from Canada, I believe. Am I right about that? But anyway, so he put out a little press conference, and he said, well, he is going to go after everything. He's going to cut our energy off and smile when he does it. Before he said that, these are things I don't want to do. Well, then why the hell are you going to smile when you do it? Trump was pushing for Nord Stream. I didn't get to that in one of my broadcasts, one before last. He put out a truth saying, the company that, what was the name of it? Not Nord Stream. What am I talking about? Nord Stream's a pipeline that got blown up over there in Ukraine. There's a little bit of news on that too. There's a consortium that wants to rebuild a blown up Nord Stream pipeline with Russia. And it may include some American companies. So that's going to be a big deal. But you all know, what's the name of that pipeline from Canada that Joe nixed? Well, Trump put out a Keystone. Thank you, Pappy. Pappy Two Bears. Trump put out a thing, I want to talk with the Keystone, the company. I know that they were unceremoniously dumped under the dopey Biden regime, but we need to get that going. And of course, that is bringing energy from Canada and other places north. So Alaska would be tied into the Keystone pipeline, right? Because Trump once again opened up the ANWR what's the name of that area up there in Alaska? Is it ANWR? And so what's this Ford guy going to do? Or people like his ilk? Are they going to protest and want to block the Nord Stream deal? Even a transfer agreement from Alaska? No, they can't really do that. Do some rerouting or whatever. But we can also use tankers. There's a lot of different things we could do. But he was thinking of every way that he could lash out. He was talking about how much liquor they buy, which I'm not making fun of anybody, but the Canadians, I know some of them speak French, but they must have some Irish in them because they consume a lot of liquor. And he was saying it would cost Kentucky and Tennessee like $1 billion a year. And that Mitch McConnell and whoever else in them territories were like begging, no, don't do it. Don't shut down the imports of American liquor. So he's talking about potash for manufacturing and smelting and stuff like that, which we hardly do any of that anyway. But he's talking about everything that he can do to lash out. And he said, we're going to suffer too. He said, Americans don't realize how bad they're going to suffer when we do all these things. And he went right down the line, different things that he could do. And he said, we're going to suffer too, but we're not giving in. We're going to fight for every dollar for dollar, and all this kind of stuff. How's that going to work out? I can't think of one thing that we can't get elsewhere. So what good does it do? And this kind of posturing, I guess we'll find out. Like Fani, they might find out, not our friends in Canada, the citizens. We don't want them. They're suffering enough over this European-style censorship and restrictions on speech. What they did to the truckers, closing down the banking, that crap is going to come to a stop. Trump will get to that. Okay. There's two big goals. One is voter ID and citizenship. You have to be a citizen to vote, and voter ID. And the other thing is defending free speech. Because without those two things, we can't have real elections. We can't. They'll always be tinkered with. There'll always be people who are held back in their expression of their thoughts. And that if you're held back with your expressions, your ability, if you're in fear, for many, many people, that suppresses your ability to critically think. Because you'd rather not get in trouble by thinking wrong think. You may accidentally say something in the future, and the fear of that suppresses the intellectual health of a nation. Free speech, it's like a plant. I mean, you water it, you put light on it, you encourage it, it grows. And starve it out, it'll wither and die. It's just like anything else. So those two things are going to be part of Canada's future, short of the 51st state. Now, of course, if they become the 51st state, that's going to be addressed as a matter of law. That's going to be addressed as a matter of law. So, hi, Aracels, how you doing? Yeah, we can cut off their crude supply. Well, according to him, he sends us a lot of electricity. That's right, Todd Paper. Hi, Justine. Thank you. Good stuff. Well, you know, if you look at all the stuff that's all the plates that are spinning, there's so many different scenarios, so many different. But you know, people like Fani Willis and Letitia James, they know they're part of a group that is, I'll call it extra constitutional. Is that a good way to put it? Instead of saying they're part of a cabal. But the cabal is extra constitutional. And it's anti-constitutional. Because you can't be extra constitutional without being anti-constitutional. You want to add something to the Constitution, now fight to agitate for it, you know, this and that. And if it gains traction, people have the ability to hear both sides, the ability to say what they think, the ability to have a grown-up discussion, you know, and you get it to go through fine. But don't try to game the system through crooked courts, militant judges, bribed congressmen. That's not the way we operate. And if you are knowingly operating in a way that is unconstitutional, it's a de facto crime, in my opinion, because I'm not an attorney. But I got common sense, like Trump says. And I've been involved in enough contract cases. I've written contracts. I've had to go to court with everything from deadbeat tenants to screwed up land deals, all kinds of stuff. And I said before that we will hear contractual contract law terminology being applied. Because what is a contract? A contract is a meeting of the minds. A meeting of the minds where for certain consideration, money, whatever, you get a certain object or effect or performance of something. That's what our Constitution is. It's a contract with the people. And everybody that holds an office that is going to be working underneath that contract takes an oath to uphold it, to keep their end. These judges, Amir, what's his face? He's from Ontario. How the hell he ends up being a federal judge? He's still ordering that this $2 billion be released by Donald Trump. I believe that's before the Supreme Court, but Roberts stayed the order, and I guess they're going to put a formal written opinion out. But they're either stupid and don't belong on the bench if they think one out of 1,000 federal judges can tell the entire government to cough up $2 billion and throw it around overseas, and the president can't. They don't understand the concept. They don't deserve a judgeship. Their ignorance is sullying the bench. If they're not ignorant, if they're knowingly subverting the Constitution, their ass needs to go. Either way. So we got this Amir character, and then we've got what's her face, the one that put Paul Manafort in jail and went after Roger Stone, and Amy Barrett Jackson. Amy Barrett Jackson, that's her name, isn't it? She has been playing games and put this Hampton hoop-de-doo, whatever, some snoot, some in my opinion, a snoot, a limousine liberal lawyer, supposedly can be a special counsel, whether Trump likes it or not. And he was put in by Biden just before Trump came into office, and he has a 5-year term. Now, according to Amy, the astute and venerable federal judge, according to Amy, because he had a 5-year term and Trump is relieving him of his office without cause. In other words, you have, I guess in Amy's mind, you have to catch him doing what? Taking money from the soda machine. I don't know. Trump doesn't need a reason, but according to Amy, he does. Trump does. A provable cause of action to take him out. If without that, this guy can be a special counsel, aka prosecutor. Jack Smith was supposed to be a special counsel. And Trump can't touch him. Congress can't touch him. And the courts, according to Amy, support the fact that, in their mind, the fact that he can sit in that chair for the entire 5 years, a year longer than an elected president. And he can call his own shots, do his own thing, and he's not answerable to anybody. How, Amy, how the hell do you think that's going to stand up at the Supreme Court? And I really want, I'm glad she's pushing it. I'm glad she's putting forth these dopey arguments, these juvenile sophomoric legal briefs, maybe on purpose to get it to the Supreme Court, get it through the appellate court. Well, this was leapfrog straight to the Supreme Court. I hope we get legal opinions, written opinions, dissenting opinions, if there are any, should be 9-0. There is no office in the Constitution where somebody can sit on their rear end, give the President of the United States a finger in the executive branch for 5 years, and nobody can do a damn thing about it. There ain't no such animal. But if there is somebody dissenting, I want to see it in writing. I want it to be in the record. I want it to go down in history. Who is the idiot? If there is one, and I have my usual suspects, maybe 2 or 3, that would play what I called before legal twister. Remember the game Twister from the 60s and 70s? Twister. And who was playing that game? Who's going to make an idiot of themselves in the eyes of history? I really want to see it. It's intriguing to me because this guy being there an extra 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever. Is he bait? I don't know, debate people out to show their ineptness. I don't know. I don't think he's bait. I think he's really that much. And the fact that he's insisting that he should have that type of position should disqualify him for even holding a law license. I believe that. How the hell can you say you practice law in this country under the Constitution and you don't even understand the precepts, the basic separation of powers? And what the hell a constitutional office is? How can you have a law license and be that dense? If you've been through and passed your classes, passed the bar, got all your book learning done, and the end result is for you to come up with this bag of garbage, you're an operative. You're a Marxist operative because you're not that dumb. You know better. You're trying to undermine the system. You're trying to undermine a sitting president. You can play dumb, but if I was making a decision about him on a board of ethics, okay, looking at the code of conduct, they have a code of conduct. He would be disbarred. He would lose his license and not be able to practice again. Unless he had a, epiphany and a 10-foot stack of Bibles and was relegated to speeding tickets and stuff like that. Maybe we'll let you have a law license. But no, you're not going to you're not going to be a constitutional officer. Oh, you have to speak French in order to work in Quebec. Well, they asked me, do you speak French? I say, oui. And that'd be about it. Hi, Bill. Bill said, who? Who I'm talking about is this, what's his name? Hampton, somebody or another, who's a special counsel hanging on to his perch in the government. According to Amy Berman Jackson, which I used to get confused with Amy Coney Barrett. It's very close when you're talking 90 miles an hour. So anyway, so we got these dramas playing out with the Supreme Court. I'm trying to find this stuff on Letitia James, that's hot off the presses. Letitia James Laura Loomer put out, I have very damaging receipts on Letitia James, much more than what I posted last year, which was shared by POTUS. Uh-oh. Laura Loomer put out something last year that Donald Trump shared. Now she's got more. Very powerful people would be able to do massive damage with these receipts in their hands. Those powerful people have my number. Oh, they should call me. Well, like I said, she's a free spirit. She's a wild one, Laura Loomer. I don't want to pop a bubble, and I know she's hardworking and she's driven and she, is earnest. I'll put it that way. Maybe sometimes a little too earnest, but I don't want to pop her bubble. But I'm sure they already got it. But just like Doge, say, oh, wow, look what Doge found. I believe the Army of the Potomac already had that stuff, already was tracing that spider web. But hey, you need a civilian outlet to say, look what we discovered. And Laura Loomer was on Air Force One with Trump, and Trump did share her stuff, right? Now we got Laura Loomer saying, look what I found. Maybe she's got, you can be getting assistance. It's like I was telling a guy one time. You never know who you're talking to. Always be careful. Don't be flip. Don't, watch what you say, because you never know who you're talking to. She could have somebody like a Jimmy Olsen type assistant, right? Like Megyn Kelly. She said she's got 6 producers. She's got 6 producers, and she's doing more views, more traffic on her podcast than ABC, MSNBC, CNN, all them together with 6 producers. I was going to mention that later on, but now I've already mentioned it. So just showing you that these big names are dying off. They're dying off. People like Megyn Kelly got 6 people helping them. And these other companies I mentioned, like CNN, have hundreds and hundreds of studios and spend millions. Megyn Kelly just does her little podcast. But anyway, Laura Loomer or Megyn Kelly, they could have these little Jimmy Olsen type saying, gee, I'm helping out as best I can. Oh, look at these photos I came across. Oh, look what I found. And they're really a white hat, really an operative, really military intelligence. And they slip you something, you go, good work. Or they say, I don't know. See, look at that rock, Laura or Megyn. Did you look under that rock? And Laura or Megyn lift the rock and go, wow, look what I found. But they really got guided by somebody in military intelligence. Great job, Megyn. Great job, Laura. I'm Jimmy Olsen. Does it make sense to you all? Because, you got to be slick about it, okay? You got to be slick about it. And, so anyway, we'll see what happens with what Laura Loomer is putting out, financial improprieties, because it just so happened that this character on Twitter, his name is Antar. What is his name? Let me try to get that to expand. Oh, I didn't get his name on there. I clipped his name off. His last name is Antar, Antar, middle initial E. Sam, I believe, Antar, E. Antar. puts out a new investigation alert. Now, this may be some of the same stuff, but he posted at the same time, the same day, Laura Loomer puts out her little doo-doo bomb that ends up on Letitia's plate. Excuse me while I have a sip of my coffee. Boy, that's good, good stuff. And thank you again to Mike and Bev, and hilarious too for going by buy me a coffee and helping sponsor tonight's show. And Angela helped out last week too. I appreciate that. I got a link in the description if anybody wants to help the channel out. But anyway, this guy says, new investigation alert. We've uncovered a decade-long pattern of financial misreporting by New York Attorney General Letitia James. Despite her $355 million judgment against Trump for misleading financial statements, our findings reveal troubling transparency issues in her own disclosure. And then he puts a link to an article, but he enumerates these discrepancies. And we probably heard about some of them, but let's see what he says. Key points. Repeat offender. Over the past decade, James has repeatedly failed to disclose critical financial information, including hidden mortgages and rental income. Hidden mortgages. James failed to disclose a $109,000 mortgage on her Norfolk, Virginia property despite legal requirements. Norfolk, Virginia is where the naval base is, but they do a lot of rentals down there. Norfolk is near Virginia Beach, and that's pricey stuff. But you got military families that need housing and stuff like that, so it's good. And you got vacationers that want to rent stuff because of its location. Norfolk Naval Base is a big thing. So anyway, despite legal requirements, she didn't disclose the stuff. Inconsistent reporting. Her 2023 disclosure lists 2 new mortgages on Virginia property totaling up to $400,000 with no public records to support them. Rental income discrepancies. Initially reported rental income from the Norfolk property has vanished, raising questions about unreported income. Well, Letitia, you better hope that Donald Trump gets rid of the IRS. One more reason for you to support him. Let's see. Brooklyn property issues. Similar issues were found with her Brooklyn property, where she failed to disclose rental income for years. Well, she's a real estate magnate. Undisclosed rental income. It was revealed that James failed to disclose rental income from her Brooklyn brownstone, despite collecting tens of thousands of dollars every year from tenants. What do you got to say about that, Letitia? What did you file on your state return in New York? Let's see. Over leveraged financing. The Norfolk property is a $500,000 mortgage on something only worth $187,000. Now I'm thinking that's an area of Norfolk that you don't want to walk down the street at night. Get what I'm saying? There's some rough areas inland off the coast yeah, bad news. Double standards. James's actions suggest one standard for others and a different one for herself, undermining public trust. Yeah, I'd say. I mean, if they tried to jam Trump up over Mar-a-Lago, and she's got these mortgages 3 or 4 times the value of the property, plus the unreported. So anyway, so we're going to keep an eye on that, and that might not be what Laura Loomer had. She may have more. Letitia James, let me get her out of the way. What was his name? Judge McAfee, was that his name? He put out an order today that lets, I forget his name. He was worked for the Trump campaign. He was charged under RICO, okay, like Sidney Powell and I think Jenna. Was it Jenna Ellis? Anyway, all those charges are done. It says specifically in his court order that there will be no convictions or charges on record for these defendants. All of them. Because they went into a diversion deal. And that his order will not preclude any of them from holding any future public office of public trust or attorney's fees or professional licensing of any kind. And there's no record of conviction to be recorded against them. They have a spotless record. So Fani's got nothing, zero, for everything she's opened herself up to. But on top of that, all the money that's been spent and all the time down there in Georgia. But hey, look what's been exposed about her. Look what she's going to have to face. And her entire office, not just Wade, Apple Pie Wade, Nathan Wade, being kicked off. Her and her entire office kicked off because of the actual or appearance of impropriety. So she is appealing this stuff. Good luck with that. And on the other front, she had a motion to quash her subpoena before the state to testify about her shenanigans. And the court said, no, you got to go. You got to go testify. What happened with Steve Bannon? What happened with Peter Navarro when they didn't go to testify? All right, got locked up. So she's appealing that again, trying to. But her walls are closing in. Fani Willis is finding out because she already FA'd, all right? And I'm sure she's going to continue to FA, and she's going to continue to FO. Because that's the way it works, right? You FA, you FO. So, yeah, Fani and Letitia are sucking wind. Here's that Chuck Schumer. I didn't get a chance to watch that. He had a secret meeting with Zelensky. Plotting against Trump is the storyline there. Plotting against Trump. What's the legal ramifications of that? We know that there's a formal investigation that's been opened up against Chuck Schumer for doing what? threatening the Supreme Court. He's got a criminal referral, and he's being formally investigated for threatening the Supreme Court. And I guarantee you there's something in there that's not public. Threatening President Trump by proxy when he said the intelligence services have 6 ways a Sunday to get back at you. You don't say that to a sitting president. I don't give a damn if you're a senator, who the hell you are. It's criminal, in my opinion. So you got Chuck Schumer having the secret meetings with Zelensky, interfering with foreign policy and the Hatch Act on top of these investigations that are going on. When do you think Chuck Schumer might say, well, if I tell you about Nancy or whoever, when do birds sing? How much time? I know they said no deals. Okay, that means nobody walks. All right, but people do get consideration when they materially assist the government in other prosecutions. They have to give something. A deal, what they're referring to in the 17th letter, is you buy your way out of it. Get somebody to turn their head. You walk away. You're clean. You have no blemish. It's not made public. No deals. But I think he's going to roll on people. Remember how many times he said that? Oh, when is so-and-so going to flip on Trump? And Trump was like, nothing to flip on. Well, Chuck Schumer was involved with, what was her name? The Madame, they called her the Washington Madame, Madam or whatever. Heidi Fleiss. They got a lot of dirt on Chuck Schumer on Heidi Fleiss's. No, I don't know if that's been so long. But, when that operation got shut down, he just jumped over to something else. Here's this guy, Doug Ford, warns Trump he would cut off energy to the U.S. with a smile on my face if it comes to it. Ontario Premier Doug Ford. He's prepared to follow through with previously announced retaliatory action if Trump moves ahead with his tariffs. This includes removing American alcohol from the Liquor Control Board of Ontario shelves and ripping $100 million deal with Elon Musk's SpaceX for Starlink internet in remote areas. Oh, I'm sure your constituents will really enjoy that. Ripping up $100 million deal, $100 million, Elon Musk, he's got that in his left pocket. The only thing you're going to hurt is your own constituents, your own citizens. During an announcement on expanding critical mineral industry, Ford did not hold back in his resolve to fight against impending tariffs. If the U.S. wants to try to annihilate Ontario, I will do everything, including cut off their energy with a smile on my face, Ford said. We're going to win this tariff war. Good luck with that. Didn't he pull some kind of stunt? I seem to remember some news stories about this guy. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. He was famous for doing something. I can't remember. But anyway, they're not going to win. They're going to make things worse for their own citizens. Maybe it's all part of the PLAN, to where people go, screw this. I'd rather have Trump running our show than these boneheads. Vindictive boneheads. Well, Zelensky, they put out that they want to sign the mineral deal now. And I was watching some creators talking about that. Well, Zelensky wants to sign it now. Trump should work with Zelensky and not be angry at him, not make him humble himself and just let bygones be bygones. I'm like, well, don't you know? How the hell can he sell his minerals twice? He already sold them to UK. But then again, what's the legality of the UK's contract? Did they run that through Parliament? Are they required to run it through Parliament? I don't know. But it's mixed signals because Zelensky is talking out of both sides of his mouth. That's right, Bill Carson. You're right. Ford he got involved in some kind of crack thing, or I forget. He was dancing around. So, this was years back. There's Megyn Kelly. There's Daryl Hannah. I already talked about her. Oh, did you hear that today they had another person take a vehicle and plow it through a crowd? Again, in Germany. And about 5 days ago, they had somebody plow a car through a crowd in Israel. But they don't say, the article says an SUV plows through a crowd. You know, those sneaky SUVs. They don't say anything about who the individual was, who was driving it. Was it a 90-year-old woman with Coke bottle glasses that didn't take her medicine, or was it more in line of what we're thinking? Whoops. Oh, ladies of the night. Well, he's like just about every other politician we know about. Then did you hear also? I want to keep an eye on this. There was a journalist in Virginia. They call him a journalist. That these people are not brain surgeons. Put out a tweet. They ratted out ICE agents. This guy says journalist tips off illegals of imminent ICE raid in Virginia. And this guy's name is Pablo Manriquez, Manriquez. And it's being reported on Fox News. They got a picture of his Twitter account and everything like that. So this brain surgeon puts up in capital letters, ICE raids. And then he types, are planned for Monday and Tuesday in Northern Virginia, per multiple sources who tell us ICE has obtained between 75 and 100 judicial warrants. So he's tipping off criminals, criminal aliens, and putting the lives of ICE officers at risk. I want to see if there's going to be an arrest over this stuff. Well, nothing happens to them yet, I will say. And Jasmine Crockett, I didn't get it. She sat there and, some of these people are taking it too far. She was on MSNBC and she called Trump an enemy of the USA because of the way he treated Zelensky. Well, I can tell you what, it's a good opportunity. Trump is putting out olive branches to NATO, but it's a good opportunity to tell them to go stick it. But I don't think Trump's going to do that. But Senator Mike Lee, Says prominent Diamond Silk report, prominent GOP senator calls for U.S. to exit NATO. Mike Lee, Senator, Republican Utah, is calling for the United States to withdraw from the North Atlantic Treaty Organization as several European nations continue to reject President Trump's calls for peace. I think he's going to. I think he's going to whip NATO into shape. The UN, that's another story. Reagan didn't like the UN. He was like, they can pack up their hush puppies and hit the damn road for all he cared. I don't know. And did you all see where they signed that bill? I don't even know why they have to do a new law, but they're doing something and they're making big waves with it, where these people are taking AI and creating filthy images, pornographic images of a, they'll take some girl in school and take her face off of her Instagram posts and then use AI to make, uh, nasty images and put it up all of, it seems to me you should be able to sue their rear ends into oblivion without a new law. Maybe you can, because this criminalizes it. Can you imagine your daughter, and she come home crying her eyeballs out because some moron did something like that? So that was Melania Trump. That was Trump gets so much done every day. And there's so many things, he's got his fingers on the pulse. He's taking care of this AI and also revenge pornography, but I don't see, they say you can gauge a society by the redundancy of its laws. You pass laws on top of laws. I don't see where any level-minded person wouldn't say, you do that to somebody, especially a minor or anybody, create images like that. But, at least they've got it codified now. But you got that going on. You got all the crap I talked about with Letitia James. You got the crap I talked about with Fani Willis. You got the crap I talked about with that dopey senator. I forgot his name already. I said we're going to keep an eye on him. Then Chuck Schumer, and on it goes. There's a story behind every door. It's turning into to be. And how long do you think his speech is going to be tomorrow? If it starts at 9, wait a minute. Simon Silk is reporting that this reporter I just told you about, leaking news about the raids, used to work for the Democratic National Committee. Used to, that's what they're saying. How much you want to bet he's being guided or getting some kind of benefit from the DNC in doing this stuff? Even if he's not, he's an operative and committed a crime. Obstruction of justice, interfering with ICE agents. But anyway, so his speech is going to start at 9. If it lasts an hour, he'll be off by 10. But I don't know if, there's how can you wrap everything up in an hour? What Trump wants to tell the American people. And people are going to want to listen to him. I believe it's going to be the biggest address, State of the Union or otherwise, to Congress. It's going to have more views, more than anything like it in history tomorrow. Which bill got turned down? They just announced it today, Debbie. If it's the one, they just did the press conference on it today, this afternoon. I watched it. So I don't know how they could turn down that quick. I don't know. Trump says Mexico, Canada cannot avoid 25% tariffs. They start in 9 minutes. I hope those Canadians stocked up on Jack Daniels and Ezra Brooks and Old Crow and all that good old Kentucky whiskey. I don't think it'll last very long, but yeah. So Trump pauses military aid to Ukraine after clash with Zelensky. Move halts all aid currently in transit to help Ukraine. And pause comes after Zelensky and Trump sparred in the Oval Office. So, yeah, they're already sucking wind. And Trump don't let no grass grow under his feet. You would feel it. So anyway, I've got more stuff I can go over tomorrow. Well, I can't go over tomorrow because I don't know how long do you think that address is going to be? Think it'll be an hour or an hour and a half or what? Because it'd take another hour to go over it. But if it's not too long or too late, I'll go live tomorrow night. I usually don't go live. This guy's name is James Dennehy, head of a New York field office, says he was forced to resign in an email to staff. That's the FBI guy I told you about. That he got fired. Okay, forced to resign means fired. He put in an email to his staff. Late Friday, I was informed that I need to put in my retirement papers today, which I just did. I was not given a reason for this decision. Oh, you're so innocent. Top FBI official forced out after criticizing Trump pursuit of agents who investigated J.6. That's what NBC News put out. No, he wasn't. He was fired because he told his staff to resist the Trump administration, namely insubordination, and he's implicated in hiding the Epstein files. That's why he got S-canned, not because he criticized Trump over J6. You can't not dislike the mainstream media enough. They are freaking disgusting. After Trump, actually, what he said was after Trump's victory, he sent an email urging resistance to, quote, dig in. So I don't know if the word resist was an actual quote from him, but he told everybody to dig in after Trump got elected. He didn't get disciplined for that. What does he mean, dig in? I'm trying to see if I got anything new on what's going. Okay, the news from the East. Viktor Orban, who is a Trump ally and an ally of the United States, Hungarian president, that the left calls a tyrant and a dictator, which means he's a normal person. Orban said, European leaders in London today decided that they want to continue the war rather than choose peace. They decided that Ukraine would continue the war. This is bad, dangerous, and wrong. Hungary remains on the side of peace. And I meant to look this up. It's I believe a Latin term, ceterum censeo. I got to look that up. But anyway, Viktor Orban's right on the right side with Mr. T. All right, folks. I hope that I'm coming through good. I got some kind of notification here. Something lost connection, but am I still coming through? I hope so. But anyway, folks, so let's see what happens tomorrow. Benjamin dated an old crow. So did Bill. Todd said I'm 5 by 5. So anyway, I should be going live Wednesday, but let's see what happens tomorrow with the State of the Onion and what happens with Mr. T. What he throws out there. Is he going to rattle the stage of, or the cage, I mean, of the deep state? Or is it going to be focused more on the morale of the people? I believe he could do both. I believe he could raise the morale of the people by rattling the deep state's cage. That would certainly raise my morale. He's smooth. He's got a way of doing both with a smile on his face. So anyway, folks, again, I appreciate you all spending your precious time with me. I hope you all remember to give me a thumbs up. And I have a link for Buy Me a Coffee in the description. If anybody wants to help the channel out, I do appreciate it. As this is a viewer-supported channel in the broadcasts I do, I don't get anything from YouTube, and your help is greatly appreciated. So, hi, Tennessee. How you doing? So anyway, I hope you all have a great evening. I'll be seeing you soon. This is Mountain Man, over and out.